we have a guest, Tannese Williams. Tannese works for Pantone. Everybody knows what Pantone is. It's the color standard for the fashion industry. Tell us how you got into that and what was your journey to the place you are now?
They recruited me. They found me through LinkedIn, of all places. It was like an intense round of interview process, like
Oh,
5 and 6 different people. It's during COVID. So I was recruited for product manager, but I'm marketing and development. So I'm still doing product and now marketing. So I had 2 jobs. But yeah, but it is fun. I do love
I
it.
mean, what stood out to Pantone to make them want to recruit you? Like, what was your background before
Yeah,
Pantone?
it's the fashion background. It was owned by a bigger conglomerate. Like X-Rite bought Pantone, but someone else bought X-Rite.
Hmm.
X-Rite do the testing equipment and the light booths that we might have remembered as Great Tag Macbeth. They bought them out. And so everyone in that position before did not come from fashion. They
Right.
came from just the business side of things. And they realized that they need someone who understood the fashion industry. What made I stood out more than the other candidates was I'm the person that I need to talk to, the colorists, the
Right.
fashion designers, the product developers. Like
Yeah.
they really needed to understand who their market was. So I think I had the edge on that. And plus I have my MBA in marketing. So they were like, okay, if we're going to be all the way real, they definitely liked that I was a woman of color because
Right.
they had a D&I initiative and they were like, you're checking all the boxes.
Right.
And the previous person before me was a Black woman.
So what do
Absolutely.
you do on a daily basis? I mean, like what makes up your job?
Most of my morning starts off with a lot of meetings, with internal meetings. And right now I'm doing VOCs, voice of customers, because I'm always trying to talk to the designers, the mills. We do fashion accessories too. And I think we need to focus on them as well. So I'm doing a lot of voice of customers. So I'm always like talking to brands and trying to see who I'm going to write an article about, who I want to spotlight on the website, who I want to do a partnership with, who I want to like parlay into color of the year. So I'm always like kind of recruiting different partnership opportunities or co-marketing opportunities. That's the fun part of my job. The other part is I'm also coming up with new product, research and development and quality, making sure the product that's out there. So I'm fielding a lot of questions from customer service, from our direct customers, our clients that come in. And then it's a lot of writing. If I can get to it, I like, writing and actually like coming up with the reason to buy this
It's
product.
like how do you succeed as a designer or in the fashion industry, whatever you're doing, but still
Mhm.
have like your peace of mind because it's just like we're not saving lives.
I mean, but we're impacting them. We can like elevate or really affect someone's life. I had a really great interview with this brand that you will soon hear about on the web. But tears, she was like, thank you for seeing me. Because it's not just about dealing with the brands that are already established and of course the Valentinos of the world, but there's also up and coming brands, not just in fashion, but in beauty, because I think it all ties in. So I'm like, I want to talk about nails and makeup.
Right.
I think, it ties in, it's color.
Yeah.
So bringing those newer brands or startups on that platform can
Hmm.
change lives. So we change them, we don't save them, but
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we love what we do, right? We're designers, we're creatives. So that's the part that is like, you love what you do, it's fulfilling, but you still need to have boundaries.
Also, when people think of the color of the year, also going to office and even post-its, down to the post-its, they will have and post-its and pens. It's like your office supplies. The colors that you see in Staples
Hmm.
will come from the color of the year. So
Right.
it's such a wide range. And to hear you talk about fashion and accessories and nails, it's like, yes.
We have a company that owns Pantone called Veralto, who's also a woman CEO. So it's a lot of women in upper top management now.
Nice.
But I keep telling Ellie, who is my boss, she's the president and GM. I was like, just let me do. Like, we need to be all in this. And she was like,
Yeah.
huh? I'm like, yeah, like color coded. If it's coded in color, we can be there. So really there's no limit. And I'm on the FHI side, which is the coded color side. So I'm like, basically anything I look around could be my product. Food and beverage. Well, the packaging is definitely graphics, but the actual product for Viva Magenta, we did a Viva Magenta Blue Moon. It sold out in, did they say 24 hours or 48 hours?
I mean, because people fail to realize, I mean, Pantone is global. I can use a Pantone, all I have to do is give a number, and the factories all over the world would know exactly what it is.
That's another thing. Depending on what fashion industry you were in, like what company and what kind of budget they had, there's people to do a lot of things. Like everyone has their role. I was product development, color and fabric, and I get to touch and feel, do my presentation, do trend. It came to like the numbers. I'm like, I just dictate like, this is the price I want and this is the margins I need. Okay,
Right.
production person.
Figure it out.
Make that math happen. And it's like,
wait on, check your fingers, do whatever you do to get those numbers.
Do that. Like here, they're like, oh no, you product manager, you own the numbers, you own the KPIs. Oh, and how much you plan on making, and you better calculate it right because we're gonna hold you to it. So
Right.
PM is definitely not what I thought it was.
You say KPM. Explain to people what that is.
KPI.
KPI.
Yeah, what is it? It's key performance.
Key performance indicators. It's pretty much all of the things that make up your profit. So I guess it's a fancy term for a profit and loss statement, kind of. I got sales from my website, Instagram, social media store.
Yeah, your channels.
For advertising, and this is how many people followed us on Instagram this week, and this is how many people liked our thing. It can go from the top 4 things, how much we made, how much we spent. But there's so many tools that will do it for you. Like Instagram does your analytics. Shopify will give you your weekly numbers.
There's Google Analytics. Like we do Google Analytics. It tells us every little thing. And that's good because, it helps me with like my articles. Like I like to write my articles because I like writing. I like meeting the people. I like, blowing people up. But they're like, what's the returns on that article? I'm like, it's not about, revenue all the time. There is a KPI for how many eyeballs, how many clicks, how many people came to your website because of this IG post, how many people like went to LinkedIn because of this article.
Right.
And new people that would not have gone in if you didn't highlight that type of creative. And then the creative too bring their audience too. So I'm like, value that because that's how you keep growing. You can't just talk to everyone up top and the same people you always talk to. Not everybody has the budget, but they have the brand, or they have the following, or they have the new thing that keeps us relevant. So I'm always having to preach that, like, you need my articles because if we don't have them, who are you talking to?
So if somebody wanted to go and read the articles that you write, where can they find them?
It's Pantone.com. Then you click the part that says learn, and then you'll see product spotlight and case studies. I like product spotlight. So I do the product spotlight, and it's really designer spotlight or a brand spotlight. And then I slide my products in there. But that way, like I did a nice article with the designer, one of the designers from Timberland. I think it's called Constant Development, that he teaches how to make sneakers and stuff like that. But he loved the ultraviolet. He made a Timberland boots in that color, that purple, won the award and the job to Timberland.
Okay.
That's
and
great.
So I thought it was a cool story. It's Pantone color and everything. And then I came up with my new product, shameless plug. It's called the Paper Traveler. Because what we do is you can just put it in your purse or your bag, and it's your book of color wherever you go.
Oh, I need that. Yeah, I need that.
And it's like every color you need that Pantone has is in a color order. So you're looking for all your reds, all your pink.
That is excellent.
And there's standards, so it's coded. So this is a standard, and it gives you the code. So when because it's code especially during COVID, I developed this when we were in COVID. I'm like, okay, if you're working on multiple substrates, we have one that's a passport that looks like this. I'll show you. Okay, this is the passport store that I got the idea from,
Mm-hmm.
but it's all cotton. Same idea,
Mm-hmm.
but it's small and it's cotton, which is good so you know what it's going to like textiles. But I'm like, this is good for fashion designers or people working in textiles. What's the other rest of the world that's designing shoes, bags, leathers? There's a paper guide for fashion. You don't have to use the formula guide.
And what is that
That's
called?
the TPG.
Oh, that's what you were talking about before. Let me write this
Yeah,
down.
well, that's what this book, shameless plug again,
Okay.
it has a TPG in it, but we have a guidebook because some people like the guidebook.
Yeah.
You know, I got to give you options, but it looks just like the fan book you picked up, but this is coated, it's pigment coated, so it's gonna look like whatever you're gonna put on top of something, right? So it's pigment, not ink. When you use the PMS, this could be a whole Pantone. They should put this on the website. Good stuff. But when you use the PMS, it's ink on paper. It's meant for ink.
Mm-hmm.
Ink don't work on fabric or any hard surface. You need pigment base. So that color that you think you got on the PMS and you're trying to match, it ain't gonna really match. It's gonna take some like 2, 3, 4, 10. Depending on your mill. Like you're going from apples to oranges. Ink and pigment, totally different. You're putting ink. Can you imagine putting ink to color your dress? It's like when, you know, the designers come to fabric managers and say, I want my fluorescent, my neon pink or my neon yellow on this cotton shirt. And you're like,
you know, and it's funny that you say that. It's like, because when I first came into the industry, you know, no one tells you this. Like, you don't learn this. It's like, okay, I want this highlight yellow, you know, because I was doing like, you know, and they put it on a cotton t-shirt. I was like, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And then it is just, you see the difference between poly and cotton, how it dyes, you know, and it's just like,
and you realize I need a different kind of dye. That's what dyeing and finishing, with Mrs. Howard, Professor Howard.
Oh my gosh.
Another thing that's gonna always be in my brain forever and a day. When you cry in a class, you remember the teacher and that class forever. But I'm like, I'm glad I learned this because this is my life every day. Or it was when I was dealing with lots of designers that didn't know their fabrics. When you don't know your technical, as a designer, you better know your technical stuff. If you don't know fabrics and fibers, dye stuffs, what are you doing?
Seems like your earlier career really gave you all of the experience and the background for it kind of like set you up for Pantone because all of that wealth, experience, knowledge, the people, the connections prepared you for Pantone.
Yeah, I think so. You know how you have those moments where sometimes you're in a room and you're like, do I belong here? You know, like, because they're just like talking jargon and they're being very corporate, right? Very finance and, you know, the $20 billion whatever they just closed. I'm like, oh, was that $1 billion? $1 billion? Oh, okay. But then I was like, I belong here because this is my industry. I know this stuff.
Thank you for coming on. We're going to link all of Tannese's links in the description below, so definitely take a look. Signing off, this is Ahia from Cover Me Chic.
And Letitia Winston for Keeping You in Stitches.
Naima from Fearless Threads.
And Tannese Williams from Pantone. And friends.